Hey Gundam deformed fans and model kit builders. So I have a weird format going on. I actually built this model kit already, but I deleted the unboxing of it. So I'm going back and showing you the packaging now, and then I'll build it. Okay, well anyways, the box is a little misleading because this is just a cross silhouette model. It's not a super deformed Gundam. Cross silhouette is deformed but not as much. So you want to ignore this part here that says SD frame, and it has a cross silhouette frame which is a little bit taller. Supposedly it's a limited item because it has a clear body. I don't know what limited means to Bandai though. And then there's, I also don't understand why it says high grade 144 there, because it's not really 144 scale being a deformed model, right? Maybe the head is, I don't know. No, it seems like the head is too big after building it. There's a frame in gray color. Okay, so that's what the box looks like. It came with 2 bags with all the runners, but you'll see me clipping those off in a moment. We'll show you the instructions. I experimented with some Sharpie markers, that's why that's there. So it's a really simple model. There's really not too many parts. Like I clip all the parts off. I don't sort them out or anything like that. Although the instructions could be a little clearer. I did put on this neck backwards. I find that this assembly doesn't make sense. It would make sense to put the shoulders inside the front piece and not the back piece, but whatever. You'll figure it out. Just have be aware that you might have to pull some parts apart if you mess up. Anyways, that's what the runners would look like had I actually saved that first video. And they were nicely done, of course. Okay, so in all, it was a pretty nice build, and just stay till the end and I'll talk about all the problems I ran into building it and some tips as well. Alright. Alright guys, well, let's talk about what I learned and what maybe can save you some time if you do this. So first of all, my technique might not be the best technique, is I clip it coarsely, you know, with these Tamiya cutters, the double-sided cutters, and then I go in tighter with my display cutters. But I found that the display cutters and the way the sprues are molded, they tore out the plastic. What's the best example? Well, on this hand, for example. This clear plastic doesn't want to cut smoothly. It's like a crystal almost, right? So even though I was using these really high quality cutters, it like tears the plastic out of the, or something. I sanded this whole surface smooth, and yet you can see that stress mark. So I kind of have a suspicion that with clear Bandai plastic, there's not a great deal you can do unless you take even more time and cut that sprue far away, well, further away, and then sand it down, you know, with a nano file or something. But I was cutting close and it caused all that stress mark stuff. So in certain cases, the red plastic, yeah, you can see it's not as bad. Where's probably the best example? That's a tough one. Well, I guess back here on the back of the feet there was a center sprue mark, and I guess I didn't cut very close, so then I ground it away with this thing. After I grounded it away with that thing, I would use this nail file. In this case, it's apparently a 600 grit, and then after that I would go through this thing. I don't know what grits these are, but this black one, then this white one, then this like plastic tan one, and then ultimately I go back to this white foam. It says 3000. It's basically just foam. There's no grit on it, I don't think. I think it's just like a foam, and that brings it back to the you know, shiny plastic. So it took over an hour just to sand all these nubs, and again, it's just some of them you can't do anything about it. See, on this shoulder, these two nubs, they feel perfectly smooth, but you can see the stress mark in the clear. So what am I getting at is maybe it's just not even worth sanding the clear parts, at least, because I think you're always going to see that white stuff, right? So I don't know if it's worth the effort. That's what I'm getting at. The other colored plastics, the red's a little bit better for sure. The blue, yeah, there's a nub mark right there, so I think you can get it a little bit better. Anyways, it's all about time and patience versus speed and getting it done. When it comes to assembly, I put this neck peg in backwards. You want to have the thing actually facing forwards. And then there's always this thing, which is always an extra part. Maybe it's for the regular deformed, but the ball of this is totally different from the ball holding the head on. So this is just a random part. But the other parts here we can use, but we'll get to those later. There's a lot of stickers it's asking for, but I just chose to skip most of them. In particular, like this crest here, this sticker here goes here, but this is a three-dimensional crest, so trying to put a sticker on a three-dimensional object is just gonna be weird. It's just gonna peel off, so I just used gold Sharpie. The problem with the gold Sharpie, or all the metallic Sharpies, is they don't come in a fine tip. This is just your standard tip, right? And it's really hard to, you know, get tight details. So my gold Sharpie actually ran too much past this protruding edge. You can see. Let me get my dental stick. Hold on. Let me get in here. Yeah, see, it's touching this surface, and so historically on like a Hot Wheels, I would just use alcohol and a Q-tip to get it off. But for some reason, when you Sharpie this gold color onto this plastic, it will not come off with alcohol. I tried repeatedly. So basically, to get this off, I ended up using this white foam, you know, sanding the 3000 grit, and I just sanded it off, or I really just polished it off. Sorry if I'm losing focus. It's just a mobile phone. So yeah, that's up to you. The head is the only other I think it's the only place I use stickers actually, because this piece that the eyes are on is clear. So if you don't use the stickers, the thing will have no eyes whatsoever. I'm debating maybe actually just putting some jewel beads in for eyes, but for now I'll just leave the stickers. And you can actually swap the eyes around. So let me show you, I guess, the eye swapping ability. So the head and the helmet, or what, if you want to call it that, they're separate pieces. So you can pop this whole lower part out. Maybe some pliers would be helpful. Yeah, it's really hard for my hands to get in there. There's this one peg holding this on. And apparently it's a strong one, so hold on, that's good. Maybe the dental pick can get in there, or maybe the beam saber. Not sure why that would be so tightly in there, but it is. There, okay. So you got that. It's not even that big of a peg, it's a square, but half of it's chamfered off. You know, it's just going into this thing here. So this is the other sticker, it's kind of plain, and then this one is more cartoony. I didn't even apply the sticker very well. Another thing you can do is pivot this little thing up and down, but it's almost imperceptible because, you know, both parts are clear. But I guess if you added paint to the back piece, then it would be kind of a neat feature. If you wanted to, you can swap this, turn this around 180. Oh, hold on, no you cannot. You literally have to take this piece off, like this, and swap this 180. But you can see here, now it's clear, right? So I think it would look weird if it didn't have eyes. Well, we'll try these this time around. Alright, so that's less cartoony. I guess we'll just continue with that. Alright, so this is see how giant that ball peg is versus this other piece that's effectively useless. And then that thing does pivot back, so that's why it's there. But it is a weird design here. I'm going to pop the head back on and show you what I'm talking about. This head runs into that black tab. See? Or actually, yeah, it doesn't want to articulate more. I don't know, maybe it could have gotten a little bit more articulation, I think, if that black tab wasn't there. You can actually just clip it off and it won't make you wouldn't even notice it. I just don't, it's a mystery as to why it's there in the first place. Oh, now you can see the eyes here in the back, so that looks a little bit weird, right? Just keep that in mind if you put both stickers on. Alright. So anyways, it's not too much, you know, forward or back, because it's colliding with this, at least in the back. In the front is the chin that's colliding with these little bumps. I don't know if those are guns or what. And then you can obviously rotate it. Oh boy, that just popped off. So actually there's just not much up-down movement or side-to-side because it's colliding with these rectangular bumps there. You can get a little bit of rotating, but I think it wants to kind of fall off the peg when you do that. You could adjust the ball itself. The ball is a separate piece, so I suppose you could lift this up off the peg and then have, you know, more clearance. That it's just the fit is so tight. Boy. Oh, that actually helps. You see, I pulled it up quite a bit. Let's just see if the head pushes it back down, though. Alright, well that... Alright, well, I mean, that helped out actually quite a bit if you just want to raise that thing up. But, you know, it's up to you if you want to see the neck or not. But you do have the option to just squish it back down. Okay. This is a separate piece, which is a nice detail, the crossbone and the skull and crossbones there is kind of cool. And then you can, I really like the colors, you know, how this is blue and you can see the yellow antennae base in through there. So it's very cool. It's supposed to be a sticker back here, but I didn't bother putting it on. Alright, so that's basically the head articulation. I will take this off momentarily. You might to be able to see, but these gray boxes for the shoulders to peg into can slide in and out, so I'm going to push them in. So you can see the shoulders are really tight to the torso, but you can also pull it out and then have some extra clearance for the shoulder to not collide with the torso. So that's a really cool thing about the CS frame. Alright, so being a ball peg, you can obviously rotate the whole thing around, and then you can always get a little bit of up down, a butterfly effect, all that stuff. And so now the upper arm or bicep is also on a ball peg, and so, you know, unfortunately not so much front back, but definitely you know, up down. So a piece just fell off, you may have heard. So this is just like a, I think it creates shields or energy weapons on the real cartoon robot or whatever. But that's just a friction fit, so you want to glue that one in place. But if you do glue it, you're going to see the glue because this is some clear stuff. And then the hands, they're just ball pegs as well. Alright, so they work well enough. They're obviously going to collide a little bit. And then this, make sure that's jammed up there so you get the most clearance possible. Alright, so it's a single hinge elbow, as you can see there. You can get around a 90-degree bend, and that's it. The joint itself would allow a negative bend, but it's this armor that's stopping it. Alright, so the hip here is a ball peg as well, so you can rotate and tiny bit of tilt, you know, before it collides with itself sideways, a little bit back, a little bit front. Then we got the hip joints, ball pegs here, and you know, you can get a tiny bit of in-out swinging, pretty good amount of front and back swinging. So that's that. And then the knee joint, again, the armor's keeping it from going too far forward, but the back is all cut out here, so you can get a really good amount of knee bend for a deformed figure, at least a good 90 degrees, I would say. Alright, so now the foot, there's a ball peg here, so up, down, rocker's pretty good, and obviously you can spin it around. And then this little cuff for the ankle is on a ball peg as well, right there. And so that means you can actually pivot the cuff around as well to help hide this gap. Let's see. So up, down, and then maybe a little bit of left, right, but it's kind of colliding with the foot. But it's nice that it's there. Okay, so that's pretty much it, I think, for the main robot's articulation. Now the last part is this thruster pack, which is supposed to have the actual cockpit that I guess goes into the back of the robot and the realistic Gundam. So they just articulate, you know, on this one hinge, and so you can have them all together. Pretty plain thruster detail. It's really not even a thruster detail. Might add some jewels to that later. But it's cool that it spreads out. Will it spread all? Yeah, you can actually get it to bend that far. Not perfectly, you know, parallel with each other, but still pretty good spread. Alright. So it's definitely a cool deformed figure, I think, at least with in this clear body style. They have a normal body style where it's, you know, white, opaque. So now the accessories. We have this what looks like a sword handle, and you can obviously have this pirate type of sword energy blade, and it's got like a squarish hole. But you also have the option of taking this pistol and popping that in here. So then it's like a sword pistol. But the odd thing is, the depth of the front of the pistol doesn't allow you to add these effects. I mean, you could easily drill them out, but I kind of feel like it would have been smart if it had a hole, because this kind of looks like an energy blast, right? Like an energy gun. But you'd have to modify it a little bit. Alright. The other sword beam is this thing. It's just a clear, blasting sword beam, but for me it looks a little strange. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. So I'm gonna never use that and just leave this one in here. Alright. So the hands, they have like a L-shaped opening for different types of weapons, but in this case, that it could be held like a sword, but possibly, no, you can't get that in there. It's just colliding. Here's that pistol thing. So anyways, you can dual wield those things if you want. Okay, let's get those off for now. I was wondering what the heck these are, but they peg into these little armor pieces on the forearm. And there's 4 holes there, and so I'm guessing this is some sort of energy weapon, that comes out of these emitters on the forearm. Or they look kind of like thrusters also. But yeah, you can pop those in. Now this energy shield, it looks like there's a separate piece here that you can pop on here. And then that has the 4 pegs again, so then you can pop this on the forearm. And it's colliding. I think I'll twist that forearm and I'll help out. Alright, so now you got a cool little shield, and yet you can see the arm and the body behind it. So that thing's really cool, actually. I like that. Very neat. So the guy can actually be pretty decked out. Two weapons in the hands, an energy shield, and then a third little, I don't know, whatever that thing is. Energy something. Alright, so that's the guy maxed out. I am a little curious though. See how this has a peg? Can it go onto any of these other weapons? No. You see, that would have been kind of interesting, although it doesn't make sense in the Gundam universe, but if it this was like a shield, but no, that's not going to fit in there. And then because this is a square, well, let's try it. You know what? That would work. That can work. So it's kind of like that. So you can swap it to the other side. Very interesting. So the weird thing really is the fact that you have 2 of these normal looking beams, but I'm not exactly sure where they're supposed to go. They don't go in here. Will they go in this square hole? I guess you can pop one in this thing. It's not really designed for it, but it will fit. But it looks a little weird to me, Alright, well anyways, I guess those are extra parts. So I'll keep those anyways, maybe for a future model. So I had to add some more details. I added a little fluorescent bead in the pistol itself, a couple beads in those little holes in the hips. There's a red one there. And then I decided to try the stickers out anyways. So I put a sticker there, that sticker there, and then there's some little red stickers for the head. At least stickers that are flat. I'm kind of curious how long they'll stay on there. I will say that the stickers were very sticky, So even though this model kit is a few years old, that adhesive is quite good. I didn't put all the stickers on though, of course. This long red one is a cuff. It goes around the whole forearm, and I just don't want to see the overlap of the stickers. And then these thruster details here go on the front of the knees here, but I'm kind of actually cool with the clear knees, so I didn't put all the stickers on. That's fine. One thing, a tip for you guys. I use this UV display glue. It's perfectly clear. Obviously, you need a UV light. It comes with a little flashlight, at least where I bought it, which is AliExpress. And so this loose shoulder and these loose armor pieces, I put some of that UV glue on, and then I put the part together, and then it just shined the UV light through the plastic, and I believe it actually worked. It doesn't come off anymore. So this clear plastic will actually let UV light pass through it, it seems, at least enough to get some of the glue tight. So that's a tip for you guys. It's really nice. And because it's clear, you can't even see any unsightliness like you would with like crazy glue. Crazy glue would just fog all that up, which is defeating the purpose of a clear model in my opinion. I also switched the eyes back. It was really weird to see those eyes in the back there. So these will fit, you know, Gundam stands of course, but I have a bunch of 1/12 scale figure stands, and they come with these small pegs, which coincidentally fits perfectly here. One weird thing though is like the hole here is very short. I don't know why, because the piece of gray is very tall and long. I don't know why they couldn't just have more hole. It would have saved on plastic, and it would have allowed the peg to fit more securely. But these models aren't very, you know, heavy, so it's no big deal. So I got two other, you know, cross silhouettes. My very first one was this red Zaku, and on the red Zaku, the whole sanding and polishing process worked out a lot better. You can almost, I don't see many, you know, nub marks left on this one. So it's interesting that just the color of the plastic makes a big difference. And then my second build was this RX-78 with the Gundam base colors, although I did paint some of the pieces as well. So obviously that's opaque, and yeah, it's okay, but I definitely think I like these clear ones more. They're just cool. I don't know, something about the translucent body makes them kind of interesting. I mean, they're also cartoon versions of cartoon robots, so that's another thing. There's definitely a place for realistic looking Gundams, and I'll build some model kits of them later, but I like these quick builds here. Alright, so that's basically, oh, one last thing. Yeah, one last thing. Even though alcohol didn't take the gold Sharpie off, it just friction did. I just took my finger and I smeared it, and it actually wiped off all that gold Sharpie. So that's really weird, because gold Sharpie is really hard to rub off of other things, but for some reason on this plastic it rubs off easily, whereas alcohol wipes will not get it off. So I was wrong earlier. Yeah, weird. Just gonna leave it alone. I'm too lazy now. Okay, let's get these guys out. So it's a cool figure again. It's just you know, my main issues with Cross Silhouette is I feel like some of the joints don't really snap in as well as they could. The hip ones, and in this case the head one, is really loose too. Every time I want to move the head around, it seems to pop off that big ball peg. Alright, well anyways, this one is jammed full with accessories that I like, so it's quite cool. Much better than this one, I think. This one just has these two weapons. Alright, I'll see you guys, and we'll do some more of these Cross Silhouette videos, because I do like these things. Alright, I'll see you then. Bye.